Hello everyone and welcome to Network Playroom. In today's video, we'll discuss Python dictionaries and how or when to use them. We'll compare Python dictionaries to Python lists and tuples, which we've covered in previous videos. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, a dictionary provides another way of creating a collection of items. So now you might ask, why do we need another way of storing data when we already have lists and tuples? Well, the trick is in how the items are tracked. If you remember from the other videos, lists and tuples are tracked by an index. So let's actually rewind real quick and use the colors example again. So we had a list called colors. I'll actually shorten the name for C because we'll use colors later in this video when we create a dictionary. So we'll say C equals square bracket, which means this is going to be a list, and we have the colors blue, pink, and purple in it. So if we want to reference these items, we use the index, which starts at position 0. Now therefore, to find the first item in the list, we can do C square bracket 0 square bracket, and that's going to return blue. We could continue to reference the remaining items by providing the correct index. So we could pull pink and purple from the list as well if we wanted to, but we'll move on with dictionaries now. So what if you want to access data that is tied to a certain value? Now this capability is exactly why you need dictionaries in Python. So instead of storing data in a certain position and referencing it based on the index, a dictionary links the data in a key value pair. So let's actually define the key and value. So let's first look at the key. A dictionary's keys are limited to only using immutable objects. So from the data types we've looked at previously, lists are out of the question, but you can use strings and tuples. An important note here, tuples can be used as keys if they contain only strings, numbers, or tuples. If a tuple contains any mutable object either directly or indirectly, it cannot be used as a key. And also there is a requirement that the keys are unique within one dictionary. Now the value. A value can be any Python object or combination of objects. When you use a dictionary, you can assign data to a key and retrieve it by calling that key. Dictionaries don't have any defined order. All you need is the key and not some index number to get access to your data. Now to create a dictionary, you use the curly brackets and your key and value separated by a colon. And you separate multiple items with commas. Now let's use the colors example again, but this time we'll use the colors as the keys and assign some other value to them. So let's use the color hex codes, which I've looked up before recording this video, by the way. So we'll make a dictionary with the colors as the keys and their hex codes as the values. So let's create the dictionary called colors. And then we use the curly brackets. And now we create the key first. So we'll say blue, then colon, and the hex code. So this is one key value pair. Then we use the comma to separate it from the next item, the next key value pair, which is going to be pink and this hex code. And then finally purple with its hex code attached to it. And then we close the dictionary, like so. So we can check the data type of the object we just created with the type method. So we can do type and colors. So you can see that it's a dictionary. Now, instead of using an index to pull the values from the dictionary, we can use the keys. So to get the hex code or the value for blue, for example, we can do colors and use the key as a reference. So you see that it returns the value attached to it. In this case, it's the hex code. Now, to add more items to a dictionary, you can assign them with a new key. So let's try this. Let's add green with its hex code to our dictionary. So we'll do colors, green, and then it's equal to 00FF00, like so. Now, if we pull the dictionary again, we should see green added to the end of the list, right here. So you can even add another dictionary to your existing dictionary. So we'll try this by adding another color and attaching several values to it by using a dictionary. So let's do colors, and we'll use orange. Now here we'll make another dictionary. So let's include some information here, such as, first we'll use the hex code as a key and insert this value here. And then we'll add a couple of other random things like a shade of orange, which would be coral. And let's add another alternate shade as well. Let's say peach. That's also an alternate fruit to orange. Kind of funny. All right, then we hit enter. And now if we pull the colors dictionary again, you see that this is added at the end of the dictionary. Next, let's look at something interesting. So we can actually create a list from the dictionary. If we perform the list function on a dictionary, that returns the list of all the keys used in the dictionary in insertion order. So let's look at that real quick. Now let's save it to a new variable. So we'll call it cList for colors list equals the list method and colors, like so. So now if we display that list, you should see all the keys used in that list. So we should get blue, pink, purple, green, and orange, like so. Now, if you want to sort this list in alphabetical order, we can use the sorted method. So let's look at that real quick. So we can do sorted cList. So now it's in alphabetical order: blue, green, orange, pink, purple. Now, before we end this video, let's come up with a networking example so we don't just use happy rainbow colors here. For example, you could have an inventory of your network devices in a dictionary. You could use the device names as the keys and store device information in the values. So we'll create something random like a dictionary called routers, and we'll put a couple of items in there. So first, let's say R1 as the key. And then let's use a different data type. So we'll choose a tuple. So now we use the normal brackets. And let's say that this is an ASR router. So we'll put the device type and let's say the iOS code version as well. So Cisco iOS 15.8, let's say 3M. Okay, so this is our first item. Now let's create another one. So we'll say R2. And let's say this is an ASR 9910. And I already made a typo here. I forgot the bracket. Let's hope there are not more. And let's say this is the same Cisco iOS code. So 15.8. Okay, let's hope there are no typos here and we don't get an error. Fingers crossed. Okay, looks like it worked. Now we can pull this data by referencing the key, and then we should get the value. So we can do routers R1. So we get the device type and the iOS code version. And just for fun, let's do the same with R2. Oh, I've added an extra dot there by mistake. Oh well, it doesn't really affect anything in our hypothetical example. Anyway, from these examples, you can see that the data structures can quickly become quite complex. So it is important to plan how you're going to store data and not just recklessly start throwing information in lists, tuples, or dictionaries. Remember from the Zen of Python, simple is better than complex. So that concludes our video today. Hopefully you have an understanding of how Python dictionaries work now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.